Today is April the 11th. Is a lack of self-esteem bad? Let's find out together as we read Numbers 10 to 13. So in reading through the Bible in a year today, I'd like you to read Numbers chapters 10 through 13. Now, in these chapters, we see that Israel leaves Mount Sinai. They've been there for a year. A year after leaving Egypt, they camped at Mount Sinai. They received the law, and apparently they stayed there for quite some time. But beginning in chapters 11 and 12, we have a series of complaints. Chapter 11, as soon as they leave Sinai, which they've established some level of comfort there apparently. In chapter 11, they are now in the desert. They're being led by Moses' brother-in-law, Hobab. At the end of chapter 10, Moses says to Hobab, "Go with us, you know where we should stop. You know the good places to camp." So he does that. But Israel complains about the lack of food, the lack of water. Moses comes to the Lord and he says, "Kill me now. Just get rid of this responsibility for me." The Lord says to Moses, "Well, pick leaders out. Pick 70 leaders who can you can delegate some of your work to." And he does that. At the end of chapter 11, then the Lord sends quail once more. The people are somewhat satisfied. And then in chapter 12, we have Miriam and Aaron complaining. Aaron, of course, is Moses' older brother. Miriam, also his older sister. They complain, "Why do you get top billing, Moses?" And the Lord deals with that complaint as well. It's when we get to chapter 13 that things get really interesting. Israel now is camping on the other side of the Jordan River from the land of Palestine. And they send spies. Now, the spies didn't sneak around. They were more like scouts. They walked around and they saw how bountiful the land was, how the Lord had blessed it, how much fruit grew there. But of the 12 scouts who were sent, 10 of them said, "But the inhabitants are well established. The cities are large. The cities are fortified. We'll never be able to take those cities." And not only that, but the people are enormous. In Numbers 13, in verse 22, they spread this bad report about the land among the Israelites. "The land we traveled through and explored will devour anyone who goes to live there. All the people we saw were huge. We even saw giants there, descendants of Anak. Next to them, we felt like grasshoppers." And that's what they thought too. Literally, we saw ourselves as grasshoppers in our own eyes. And then they saw us as grasshoppers too. Now, we started the devotional with the question, is a lack of self-esteem bad? Yes, it is. Sometimes we get confused, and we confused modesty with a lack of self-esteem. It's okay to be modest. It's okay to be humble. But a lack of self-esteem says, I can't. That is indeed what the scouts were saying. We can't take this land. Two of them, Joshua and Caleb, said the land is beautiful and it'll be hard, but with God we can do it. That is the right approach. But the 10 scouts had a lack of self-esteem. They literally said, we saw ourselves as grasshoppers next to them. And then they saw us that way too. You see, a lack of self-esteem is contagious. You can start by saying, I don't think I can do it. And you can convince those who are around you that you can't do it. The proper attitude to take, recognition of who and what we are. Humility may stem from a recognition of our own intrinsic unworthiness. Humanly speaking, they couldn't take Palestine. But Caleb and Joshua had it right. With God on their side, with God, the one who had delivered them from Egypt, they could do anything. So what about you today? Is it a lack of self-esteem, or is it humility? Let it be humility that recognizes that without God, whatever you're trying to do may be impossible, but with God, you got it. Please like, follow, and subscribe to this devotional on whatever platform you use to listen to it. Email your questions to us at questions@becomehope.com. Tomorrow, we'll ask the question, how should we respond when we're punished?